I was born in Fleabottom.
Your blood is noble.
You saying my father, he was some lord or...
There. Your father's house.
I'm just a bastard.
The bastard of Robert of the House Baratheon. First of his name, King of the Andals and the First Men. Why do you think the Gold Cloaks wanted you? There is power in a king's blood.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about Gendry and what his purpose may be now that they brought this character back after he was gone for so many seasons. But before I start talking about that, I just want to remind everyone about the giveaway. Game of Thrones Season 7 comes out on Blu-ray and DVD in just a few weeks, and I wanted to give a few copies away just to show my appreciation for those of you that continue to watch my videos. I will be giving 2 copies away, so that means 2 of you will be picked randomly. All you need to do to enter is click the giveaway link that is down in the description of this video. There are several ways to enter through that link, which will increase your chances of winning. The first winner will be picked in about a week or so make sure you enter soon. Good luck to everyone who is participating. Now let's begin. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I want to talk about Gendry and a few of the different reasons why I think they may have brought this character back into the main plot. In my opinion, I feel like they kept this character alive all these years for a reason. Gendry has escaped death so many times throughout the course of this series, it makes me believe he has a purpose to serve in the 8th and final season. I actually want to go over some of the times he avoided death because it's easy to forget some of them, and I am sure I will forget some instances myself. But people have been trying to kill Gendry ever since Season 1. After his father, King Robert Baratheon, died, Gendry had to flee King's Landing or else he would have been killed with all of Robert's other bastards. Luckily for Gendry, his mentor, Topho Mott, had a feeling this would happen, so he made Gendry leave the shop where he was a blacksmith. And this was when Gendry joined up with the Night's Watch, and he was able to sneak out of the city with Yoren and Arya Stark. That was technically the first time Gendry avoided death, and his second time came shortly after that. While he and Arya traveled to the Wall, the City Watch came looking for Gendry again, but at this time, Gendry had no idea why. He just knew it couldn't be for anything good, but Yoren risked his own life and made sure the City Watch didn't take any of his recruits. Even though Yoren was able to get the City Watch to leave and only bought them a little bit of time because they had every intention of returning, but this time they weren't going to leave without Gendry, dead or alive. Sure enough, the Gold Cloaks returned, but this time they had Lannister men with them. They pretty much killed Yoren immediately, which put Gendry in a very vulnerable position because he was his only real protection. But thankfully, Arya convinced them that Lamy was Gendry because Gendry's bullhead helmet was laying right next to his dead body. But they still took Arya and Gendry as prisoners anyway. Gendry may have escaped death again, but now he was taken as a prisoner to Harrenhal. And he wasn't at Harrenhal long before he almost died again. Gendry was picked out of the crowd to be tortured by the Tickler and he would have died, but thankfully Tywin Lannister showed up and put an end to it because Tywin knew the prisoners could be put to good use. Of course, this was when Arya became Tywin's cupbearer and Gendry started making weapons for them. And shortly after all of this was when Arya had Jaqen H'ghar start to kill some of her enemies there, and help them escape before they were all executed since Tywin left and could no longer protect them. And Arya was right because after Jaqen helps them escape, sure enough everyone at Harrenhal was slaughtered. After they escaped Harrenhal, they eventually run into the Brotherhood Without Banners, and this was when Gendry decided he was going to stay with them and make weapons. At least that was until Melisandre showed up and took Gendry away because she wanted to use him as a sacrifice to help Stannis win the war and ultimately become the king of the Seven Kingdoms. So as you can see, Gendry was constantly on the verge of death, and someone was constantly saving him from being killed. Even while he was with Melisandre, she ended up using some of his blood, but before she could do the ultimate sacrifice with him, Davos helped him escape in the middle of the night by sending him off on a boat from Dragonstone. Davos only gave him a little bit of food and water, and Gendry did not know how to swim, so for all we knew, Gendry could have been dead. He had disappeared for so many seasons it seemed like his story may be done, but when you escape death that many times, you have to have some bigger purpose in terms of the endgame. In the television show, Gendry is the last living character with Baratheon blood, and this makes him very important in my opinion. In order to keep one of the major houses from going extinct, they need Gendry, and this is one of the many reasons why I think they brought him back. In Season 7, Gendry makes his triumphant return, and we learn that he was in King's Landing the entire time, exactly where the people are that want him dead the most. Joffrey may have been the one who ordered all of Robert's bastards to be killed, but I still don't think Cersei would want Gendry running around with any kind of claim either, even though he is a bastard. But he can easily be legitimized, which I think will happen before the series ends. Even after Gendry came back in Season 7, he could have been killed again north of the Wall. He may not have been up there for the main battle, but they could have kept him there and killed his character off if they had no plans for him in the 8th season. But once again, Gendry survives another season, and now that Season 8 filming has begun, you have to wonder what will they use Gendry for in the final 6 episodes. Gendry has already been spotted in Belfast this week, so we will definitely see him in the next season, but the question remains why? Why did they bring this minor character back? Is it just purely fan service at this point because of how popular his rowing meme became? Or is there something more? Personally, I think there are a few reasons, and one of the more obvious reasons is because Gendry knows how to make weapons really well.
You are more than they can ever be. They are just foot soldiers in the Great War. You will make kings rise and fall.
We all know that the Great War is upon us, especially now that the Night King and his army are south of the Wall. Luckily, Jon was able to get enough dragonglass to equip the entire north with weapons, and Gendry is the perfect candidate to help make those weapons out of dragonglass. This was actually the main reason why Davos went to find Gendry in King's Landing. Davos told Gendry he was going to have him sent to Winterfell to make weapons, but as we all know, Gendry told Jon exactly who he was. Gendry didn't just want to make weapons, he wanted to go on the adventure north of the Wall as well, so he volunteered to go. But now that the mission is over, I can only assume Gendry will fulfill their other needs, which is making weapons. Something Gendry excels at doing. There is also a good chance Gendry knows how to work with Valyrian steel. Now I know some people don't believe this to be true, but I disagree. Gendry's mentor, Topho Mott, was one of the best blacksmiths in all of King's Landing, and he learned how to reforge Valyrian steel when he was in Volantis, which is exactly where Melisandre is going. In the books, it was actually Topho Mott who reforged ice into Widow's Wail and Oathkeeper for Tywin Lannister. I think Topho Mott may have shown Gendry how to do this too, even though there is no evidence of this yet, but this could be a big reveal that they are saving for the 8th season. You have to think George R.R. Martin made Gendry a blacksmith for a specific reason, and I don't think it's just a coincidence Gendry worked for the one man in King's Landing who knew how to rework Valyrian steel. There must be another reason why those two worked together. Personally, I think it would be amazing if Gendry made some Valyrian steel weapons for the war. I know they have plenty of dragonglass right now, but let's be honest, sword fights are so much cooler to watch. Using daggers sucks. Plus, Samwell Tarly took a bunch of books and documents from the Citadel when he left in the middle of the night. Perhaps the hidden method of making Valyrian steel is written on one of those pages Sam has with him. Sam may discover the method or ingredients, and Daenerys could provide her dragon's fire, and Gendry could be the blacksmith to make them. This is one of the reasons they may have brought Gendry back, and the next reason could be Gendry making some kind of marriage alliance, or more specifically, bringing two houses together. This is something Robert Baratheon always wanted, the Starks and Baratheons to join houses.
We were meant to rule together. If your sister had lived, we'd have been bound by blood. Well, it's not too late. I have a son, you have a daughter. We'll join our houses.
And as of right now, the Starks have two good candidates with Sansa and Arya. Sansa and Gendry are closer in age, but Arya and Gendry already have a very strong relationship with one another. The only problem is Arya always said she did not want to settle down and become a lady. She did not see herself getting married and having children. But a lot of kids say things like that, and now that Arya is an adult and she has dealt with so much death, maybe her outlook on this has changed. If Arya and Gendry are still alive after the Great War ends, she might be tired of running and fighting, and who knows, when she sees Gendry again, sparks might start to fly. I think Arya will be very happy to see him again. There is something from the books that I want to read to you. This was actually in the very first book of Game of Thrones. In one of Arya's very first chapters, she is with Septa Mordane and Sansa, and this is when they are sewing together. Septa Mordane was going on and on about how well Sansa's work was, and she says Sansa has delicate hands. But when Septa Mordane talks about Arya's hands, she says Arya has hands like a blacksmith. I always thought this was interesting, and it made me wonder if Arya and Gendry were meant to hook up at the end of the story, but it might mean nothing. I just figured I would mention that. Maybe Dan and Dave read that line too and thought they would have them hook up eventually, who knows, but that would be some crazy foreshadowing if it did happen. Because I believe that was written on the very first page of Arya's first chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Even if Gendry doesn't marry a Stark, I still think he has a big purpose in the end, which will most likely take place during the rebuilding phase of Westeros. After the big wars are over and a new power structure is in place, I think Gendry will be one of the remaining characters left who can help establish the new way of living. And a new set of laws that will allow all 7 kingdoms to be independent, instead of ruled by one person sitting on an iron throne. I don't think they will allow House Baratheon to go extinct, at least I hope not. Someone will legitimize Gendry and give him a portion of land to have. They must keep at least one person alive from each major house, and they will be some of the people that can ensure Westeros can thrive and flourish again. A lot of people are going to die in the last season and most of Westeros is going to be destroyed, but there will be a group of people that survive. And I believe Gendry will be one of those people. This is ultimately why they brought him back for the final season. Gendry will survive and make sure that spring is not only a dream. But this is just my opinion. Let me know why you think Gendry is back and why he will be coming back for the 8th season. Do you think they have bigger plans for Gendry, or do you think he will die? Either way, let me know your thoughts down below. I want to thank everyone for watching the video. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I also want to thank everyone for their continued support on Patreon. It really means a lot to me, and I cannot thank you enough. I hope everyone has a great day, and hopefully I will see you come back for the next one. Bye.